Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in into Rating Lorcana with the full spoilers of Archazia's Island being out. People have been doing a lot of like card reviews, what cards to get, so I won't be jumping into that, but today I'll be talking about decks to play, new archetypes, and different ways to build decks with all these new cards coming in. And without further ado, we shall begin. So going to Archazia as an island, I think it has a lot to offer in terms of like casual play. In terms of competitive, unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna see much changes. I think red blue will still be on top, and then you have the rise of blue steel, and I think the most underrated deck that will probably be up there will be green steel. Um, Other than that, before we jump into those particular kind of decks, but I want to focus more on new archetypes, things that people may not have seen yet or may have explored. And I would like to start off with this red purple playing with the queen. So you see here we got like the Mad Hatter, and then with the queen here as the new addition for this particular kind of deck. And I would say that the star of this deck is mainly the LeFou. LeFou allows you to ready your characters, challenge twice, or it combos off of the queen, protecting them from being either getting double procs of her abilities or having her abilities not leaving them not exerted to be challenged by the shark. So this is a very fun deck. Ways to build red purple, where you can utilize some of the newer cards, the Queen and Mad Hatter from the previous set. Going competitive wise, I think red purple. I will still be playing LeFou because I think red blue is quite relevant going to set 7. So LeFou not allowing your guys to be challenged by shark is very big. And also the biggest thing is we're running back locations and a bit more in quantity. Reason for that is I think with the new prints of coil, it's can create a very oppressive playstyle where your character can constantly be out by big Sisu. So just throwing down location forces them to change their game plan, which allows you to set up, be prepared, and then deploying your characters afterwards. And also same game plan, leaving your character exerted to be punished is what makes LeFou very good going to set 7. On the next list, we have a red steel challenge deck. And as you can see here, once again, I love LeFou, probably one of my favorite cards in Lorcana. And then in this kind of deck, we have like Mulans. I think Benja is good again, going into a Sapphire meta. So in this particular kind of deck here, we want to establish our characters, create favorable challenges to deal with the board, and having Mushu is like a powerhouse because if Calhoun takes something out with Mushu out, you kind of gain 4 lore. And then if you take out multiple characters with LeFou, that's 8 lore. Like that's kind of crazy. And then we add some fun cards in here to synergize with the deck because a good amount of the characters that we're going to be challenging with are heroes, such as Calhoun, Maui, Robin Hood, Mulan. And also we have to play the new Mulan so we can challenge ready characters. So we're playing the One Last Hope here. So being able to challenge ready characters, gain a lot of lore, sounds like a lot of fun. And then pumping our characters with medallion weights as well to help us take out the shark. And along came Zeus as well. It's just extra removal to deal with the new Tamatoa and also out shark. I think this deck is extremely fun. It's going to be very interesting. Does he beat Emerald, not Emerald, but Sapphire decks? Probably be tough, but I think outside of like red, blue, this deck does have legs where it could potentially put up a fight. And then next on the list, we have a different take of Amber Steel playing with the Cinderella and the glass slippers. So basically, you kind of just want to utilize well, we have the prince characters to kind of exert to look for princess characters to synergize, and then we play it, and you know, I guess you kind of get the gist of it. We're playing Aurora because she does offer a very high roll ability. Because playing Penny, Rapunzel, you can basically exert her, quest with her, and then ready her by healing a Smee or a damaged character, and then sing a song. Or she sings a whole new world, and then you heal her to ready her, and then she sings and take out a character. And then just something new and different with the Cinderella. Another ways to gain lore, and you know, trying different ways to reinvent Amber Steel. And so next we have another Amber Steel. So the idea of this one is because we have the 1 cost Mulan now, we can actually play the 4 cost shift. So what does this open up with is we can now do funny shenanigans of high rolling. So here, you know, we got the standard 4 songs: Storm, Strength, Zeus, and Whole New World. But to be able to like hit Mulan, like Whole New World right off the top, or Mob Song, you kind of just auto win the game, don't you? So this is like a very fun idea, very high rolly, but you know, I think that's the beauty of this new set. It really opens up different ways of deck building, play styles that's can cater more to the casual crowd. You know, sometimes just playing the same top 4 decks, you know, it makes the game feel stale because eventually you get bored of playing into the same thing. And I think this is a new way to reinvent Amber Steel. And then another Amber Steel, but this time we're playing around with some Bolt shenanigans here. So I think the star of this deck will probably be Bolt, obviously. Him being able to gain a lot of lore when he readies opens up with card synergy with Swen. So you can do stuff like you shift on 3, you quest, or you sing wheel, or whatever, and then your turn you gain X amount of lore, then you quest, you play Swen, you unexert it, gain X amount of lore, and then it just can set up a very explosive lore gain style of play, where, you know, if you have enough like wide board, you can just like set up a 1-turn kill, which is pretty crazy. And honestly, having characters like Kida as well to set up where your characters can't be taken out is very big. So another, I don't think we had the Aurora here, but we still kept the Penny because the idea of being able to heal your Smee and then have given resist to create favorable challenge is a very strong gameplay. And John Silver helps like against red decks where you don't want Maui Shark to challenge, so you be able to stall out another turn and try to, you know, win the game before they stabilize. So for the next deck, we do have something very fun. I think this set, they really pushed the puppy sort of archetype. So this is a puppy deck that you know, I think is kind of fun. It's very interesting. So I think the key of this deck is because your characters are very low powered, you want to set up where you can go very wide, draw a bunch of puppies, card draw, and then potentially either give bodyguard quests up for the win, or go to wide enough and Kida does the work, where you can just quest and just double quest again next turn and win. And then because the key of this deck is going wide and be able to play as much puppy as possible, I think 0 to Hero is very strong because you want to cheat out these higher cost characters that gives you more advantage at earlier play. So putting pressure early is like key to winning, where that's where I feel 0 to Hero fits in. And given that our character has very low power and we don't have any removals, I think Let It Go is probably like the best removal we can have in this sort of color combination. Yeah, something very interesting. I think will be very fun to play in the local. You have like ramp, and then a bit of combat synergy. Probably not too impactful, but given that like you know this is all we have, and try to play around and see what we can do. I, next we have is Blue Steel. I think everyone's been playing or seen Harlan's QE build, and then we both came up with an idea of trying to simulate a same game plan as Amber Steel, but with Blue Steel cards, obviously. So having the new edition of Bell is very strong, because now you can like go turn 1 Bell, which is basically a better Cinderella, and then on top you can start singing your songs to really like control the board, get tempo, and then the old QE we kind of have more 5-drops such as like Gaston and well, not Gaston, we had Gontu and Robin Hood. So I think the goal for the QE build going to set 7 is actually drawing a lot of cards and just being able to apply constant pressure. Because in set 6, QE had a problem where it sort of like gassed out, and then you're on the top deck mode, and then you're really at the mercy of your draws. So going to set 7 with these changes, you're gonna find you're not gassing out often. You're gonna have like crazy like links where you play Doc, and then Doc gets you Flaversham, and you have more characters to throw down, or Flaversham to Docs, and then you're just constantly putting characters down that cost for 2s, and then your opponent just has to answer them or else they're in trouble. And then we're still on McDuck Manor. I think it's a very powerful card going to set 7. Being able to put pressure post B-prep is very good. You'll find more oftenly after pre-prep, throwing down McDuck Manor will just win you the game. So this is probably one of the decks that I'll be exploring more going to set 7. I think it's very well positioned in terms of competitive, and if you're talking about casual wise, it's also very fun. It's strong and it's not too oppressive. I think overall it's a very good, solid deck. Next, I have more like a aggro deck. So in Archazia's Island, we got the new card called Geyser. Basically, each opponent, you and your opponent will like exert your inks, shuffle it, and then put them back to your hand until you have 3 inks. So I think this is a card that's very interesting. It's good into control decks. I think this would be like a red blues nightmare to play against. And then the strategy for this kind of build is you're kind of in more like a discard route, where you just throw down characters, put pressure, and then your character also makes your opponent discard. Like you have Merfolk, Flynn, Anastasia, and then if you keep your opponent on 3 inks with the Geyser, most of the characters on lower willpower, which makes Kit Cloud Kicker a menace for Tempo Swing. And also we have Ursula singing Mother's Knows Best is very strong. And then at the same time, we're trying to, while we're bouncing cards in their hand and making their ink very awkward, we're also trying to make them lose cards in their hands, so they have less options to deploy their game plan. What's also interesting is Pete. I think in this particular kind of deck, he's very strong. I can imagine like playing a Pete and then play Hypnotize, Ink Geyser, kill a Popsicle, or a Fishbone Quell. It could be very disruptive against the Sapphire decks. So I think this particular kind of build, he's also a 1-drop, which allows more aggression, which fits very well in this kind of playstyle where we're essentially capping ourselves out around 3 inks, because we can play our whole deck with 3 inks, and then our goal is to disrupt the opponent and keep them from having 3 inks and not being able to play their bigger characters that will threaten our lower drops. So on the next build here, this is also a more like a fun, casual meme deck. We're in more like a shift focus, so that's why we have the Morph. And then because we're heavy on floodboards, Chief Bogo is really good. And here you see the Prince Philip, and we're playing the Return of Hercules. So the main combo of this deck is basically you get Chief Bogo out, and if you have Prince Philip in your hand, you play Return of Hercules, you get a 4 board clear. So very cheesy, but sounds very fun. Is it competitive? I don't think so. But if you're looking for something very cheesy, then where you can have fun going to a locals night at your local game store, I think this is a very good option. Everything synergizes well together, and Helga is probably one of my favorite Emerald card. It's just unfortunate that she's uninkable. Also, I think she would be seeing more in play. So the next few decks is a combination of Hyper Aggro. I think this combination got quite a bit in terms of aggression. So this is a different take where we did end up getting new songs, which is, well, a song from the set called This Is My Family. So the idea of this deck is you can go turn 1 Cindy, sing any of these songs, like such as this to draw a card and gain a lore, and then activates Golden Harp. You can throw down your Golden Harps, Daisy, and throughout Lorcana history, 1/4s are probably the most annoying, like aggressive characters to deal with. So we're on Daisy Ducks and Golden Harp, and having these songs allows us to not only, these are like card draws, this can be a big tempo swing, being able to like bounce a Smee, Snake, or a Calhoun will keep our 1-drop characters alive to keep up the aggression and hopefully get to us to a comfortable lore lead where we can just cheese out our opponent. So this is a very fun concept I think I'll be exploring for casual plays. I wouldn't be surprised if we can see it in competitive, just because 1/4 is just very tough to deal with for steel decks. So if we go quick enough, we can probably even cheese out steel decks and win. Next we have also a yellow-purple kind of build, but it's sort of like a all-out burn deck, where we're on like the Gatherings, This Is My Family, Boss in a Row, and the Amethyst Chromicon. So it's probably similar like what we've been seeing in set 4 when people were playing yellow-purple Hyper Aggro, but this time we have the addition that we're actually playing Genies and the This Is My Family now. So the next yellow-purple combination is a bit more spicy. I think this is very interesting and fun. So we have a lot of 1-drops, as you can see. So the whole idea is we get Minnie Mouse out, we'll play Pluto, and then turn 2 we get Stitch and Minnie Mouse. Turn 3 we shift Stitch, and then we just spam bunch of our 1-drops, and then this Minnie Mouse will just be questing for a lot. And on top of that, we have like Bodyguard that burns, which is Donald Duck, and also your usual burns with the Boss in the Row, so you can stack up all your burns or look for characters that you need to get to the finishing line, and then you just draw them off the Chromicon, and then you go for the victory. I played like a variation of this a bit in set 6, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was very fun. It's very high rolly, but it can really win in like turn 4, which is very, very hilarious. Probably not fun for the opponent if they're playing control, but this will possibly be the other sort of like Hyper Aggro deck that I'll probably mess around with going to this set 7. New archetype, I think red-green has gotten a lot. I think this is probably a very interesting list going into it. So what we're doing here is knowing how important item removal is if we're going to a Sapphire heavy meta. I think the addition of Pete is very good, and we're pairing it with 18 actions, so we're removing all the items in this kind of deck. And then we have the Ursula to help us against the steel matchups to protect our guys, ripping off their songs. With 18 actions, you kind of have to play Diablo. It's such a strong card draw, and it's just it's a solid card. Um, and then we're going with the Queen of Hearts, the new Queen of Hearts. So what this does is, whenever another character is played, you put a damage counter on them. So this kind of kills all existing aggro decks, because if they're one toughness, they just come in and then they end up being dead. So doing so, having this kind of ability, we get to use fun cards like King of Hearts. So damaged characters can challenge yours. So this is like a very cool synergy where you can just like, hey, if Queen Heart's out, you play your character, oh, okay, you're Robin Hood or whatever like character they have, or Mao, you can't challenge any of my guys, and I'm just constantly questing for free. And then another card draw will be fun that works well is our Scar, just because everything's coming in has damages, so when we challenge, if we have to, we end up drawing cards as well. Tramp is just a interesting card, because given that we're on the lower willpower, I mean in terms of like quest challenging power, if we go wide enough, we can take out almost anything with Tramp. And then cards also included is, because everything's coming in with damages on it, it makes Ring the Bell very strong. And also ways to cheese lore, we have Pack Tactics, which is also very interesting. Mosquito Bite could be fun, because if we don't have the Queen of Hearts and we have King of Hearts, we can just put a damage counter on a character and just quest for free and not worry about getting challenged. And yeah, that's all I have for now, and I'll be posting and updating my Dreamborn as the meta plays out. But other than that, I think this is a lot of decks already going into set 7. There's lots of options, a lot of ways to build a deck, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And other than that, I think that is all. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and have a great day.